have just entered the bear crawling nation and my Mordant world. This is our Mordant Mahon, and welcome to the other side of live.
This is our Mordant Mahon, and welcome to the other side of live. This is the live version of our Mordant Mahon, not the pre-recorded live version of our Mordant Mahon. How is everybody doing out there?
Well,
Yay.
Where's my son? Is he on the West Coast?
Well, I want to say hi to everybody in the chatter box. First of all, there seems like we have a slew of people in there. I think we've got 16 viewers watching this. We've got 4 people in on my side panel. I want to say hi to everybody there. Hello, Kelly, Dairy Dimples, and of course Princess Chicky 3737 and Anya.
I in a mess. Oh.
No, Anya. Hi, Anya. I can't hear you if you are calling because everybody is muted. You will need to call in to 813-413-7133 if you want to chat with us. I believe that's how it works. And that is a Skype call. So tonight we are taking Action Jackson. That is what we're talking about tonight. The last few times we talked about dancing with fear. We talked about other things. And now we're going to be speaking about taking Action Jackson. Does anybody remember the Action Jackson dolls? I know that everybody in my side panel is not old enough. But does anybody out there remember the Action Jackson dolls?
I remember the Action Jackson movie. That was kind of a black.
Oh, yeah. Carl Weathers.
Yep.
And Vanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Man. Those were the days then.
Oh, yeah.
Find the Action Jackson doll. You said you were going to find it for the show.
I could not find one. I could not. It's been a very busy week here. I'm going to say hi to Detached Lotus, who just joined us down in the side panel. And I could not find an Action Jackson doll. Or their blue jumpers that they used to wear. Those came out a little after the giant G.I. Joes and the big Jim with the karate chop arm.
Right.
And he would like move his arm and the muscle would grow. Tick, 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 only bigger than, that. And Action Jackson, he just had cool stuff. He didn't do anything. You had to move him. So taking Action Jackson.
Taking action against or for or with?
Well, this is taking action in the direction of course, we're always talking about chasing and catching our dreams. We're always talking about that. So this is taking action in that direction. I mean, a lot of people talk about, hey, I'd like to do this, or one day I'm going to do this. And there was a Nike picture that I have on one of my Facebook pictures that said, yesterday you said tomorrow. And of course that is talking about taking action in your life. Not just wanting to do something, not just say, hey, one day I'll do this or I'll fix this, but actually taking steps towards whether you're catching your dreams, whether you're healing yourself, bringing healing into your life, refixing whatever is going on with you. Taking action, taking affirmative steps towards being a positive individual. And stuff.
And stuff. We always have to get the and stuff in there.
And stuff. I got to start off with my, of course, I love my quotes. So the most famous quote that I found, the most probably well known, is that actions speak louder than words, which is only half the quote I found, which I was very surprised to hear that. It's actually, the full quote is, actions speak louder than words, but not nearly as often. And that's Mark Twain. So there.
I never knew that. I never knew there was another part to that quote.
Neither did I. Now we know.
No,
because I took action to find this information out.
So what is action?
Action is, you're funny. Action, okay, from Merriam-Webster.com. Got to give them a plug. Merriam-Webster.com. Action is a thing done, deed, the accomplishment of a thing, usually over a period of time, in stages or with the possibility of repetition. So it's actually doing stuff. Action is doing stuff. You know, we can want something all we desire. We can say that we're going to move towards something all we are. Hey, one day I'm going to be this type of person. But until you take that action, it's just words. You know?
Talk is cheap, is what you're saying.
Well, it doesn't carry as much weight, that's for sure. I mean, words are very effectual. I mean, you have to be careful of your language when you say something. A lot of us are negative with even not knowing it. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I'll try, which is, all speaks to your inability or your lack of ability. So you have to even be careful. Your language is very powerful, but your actions actually say what you're committed to, because there's where your commitment lies. Hey, I'll take care of that, and until you do, not really.
Right. What's in your heart, what you believe, is really what you do. It's not so much what you say.
Yeah, actually, absolutely. If you really believe something, you're going to be moving on it. Hey, I am a person who drives a car. You will drive a car without hesitation. Look, here I am driving a car. We have another caller coming in, Princess. Katie Lemelin, how are you?
Yeah. Awesome. How are you?
I'm well.
Cool.
Do you have anything to throw into the mix, or are you just saying hi?
I'm just saying hi and joining, and then I'll say something when I have something to say.
Well, actually, I believe you took action recently and did some kind of stand-up, didn't you?
I did.
And how was that action?
Did.
How did that go for you?
It actually went really well. I got some big laughs. It was nerve-wracking, but, at least doing it the second time around, it was a lot easier. I was actually, being funny instead of kind of standing there and reading my jokes.
So that's how it happened the first time?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, not really.
No, I have some other comedian friends, when they're just working through a set, they will have their note cards in their hand, and sometimes they'll say it and then refer, or sometimes they'll just go, okay, this is the one I'm going to read, blah, 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 blah. So, you're in good company there.
Yep. And then also, I'm going on the road in a week for the rest of the year to do Renaissance festivals, so that's definitely taking action.
Now, I still want to talk to you about the stand-up just for a minute. Once you actually did that, once you moved beyond just talking about it, and you stepped off stage when you were done, was there would you feel anything different for you?
The second time?
Or either one. I mean, actually, once you actually took the action, was there a sense of relief? Were you still nervous? Were you dreading the next time? Were you exhilarated? Were you crestfallen because you don't think you did as well? What happened for you?
It was a sense of accomplishment, kind of. It was accomplishment, achievement, and then also just kind of a sense of being glad that I did it in the first place.
Right.
It was definitely worth it to do that. So I'm glad that I did.
Right. So you had to take that step beyond just believing that you could do it to prove that you could do it to yourself.
I mean, it's one thing to say, okay, I want to do this. It's another thing to actually do it.
Right. Did you find that it was easier than you were worried about?
Yes. Well, yes and no. It was definitely not. It's different to look out at people in a bar who are just trying to drink. The audience in my head thought I was way funnier than the bar did. So
come on, people! I nailed that joke.
Damn it, people! That's supposed to be way funny. So I need to work on getting my audience out of my head and into the bar, and that will make me so much funnier.
Yeah, once you're able to just throw the jokes away, once you know them so well and you're not as worried about the words, you can work on your timing then. Then you can work, okay, I need to have a little more space here or whatever it's going to take for you to do that. At least that's my experience from performing on stage. It may be different. It certainly may be different in stand-up than what I do. But I think once you get more comfortable, you're going to be able to play with it, and then you're going to find how to make the jokes that aren't working so well really well.
Right.
But that only comes
But
to
I do have an advantage because I'm cute and look very young, and that helps with like all of my jokes. So, and I also get like the women. Usually, when there's women comics who are making jokes, the women in the bars or whoever's watching usually don't like them very much.
Really?
But yeah. Oh yeah. But usually if I go off and I'm nervous and that kind of thing, they're usually pretty with me. So, and that's nice. Because, yay!
Well, good for you. Good for you. Congratulations. Everybody, hey!
Yay!
Yay! There you
Who
go.
else is on the phone?
Nobody else? Excellent.
Who else is on the phone?
She wants to know who's on the phone.
Oh, who else is on the phone right now? Big C's on the phone. I'm here. I think that's it. Yeah,
No,
just three of us.
You got
Hello Kelly is also here. But she's being silent. Silent kitty.
Aww.
So, next quote. I think there is something more important than believing. Action. The world is full of dreamers. There aren't enough who will move ahead and begin to take concrete steps to actualize their vision. W. Clement Stone. W. Clement Stone, I'm a big fan of his because he used to work with Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich and a bunch of other things. Really like a lot of W. Clement Stone and what he does, or what he used to do anyways. Speaking about having a positive mental attitude, even in spite of what's happening around you. So when you're ready to take action, if you have that positive vibe going, you're more willing to step forward than if you're like all freaked out about everything. So we've all heard about The Secret and the Law of Attraction. What you believe about your life and yourself really affects your reality. If you're telling yourself, I suck and I'm not good at this, you're going to become, I suck and I'm not good at this. And you're certainly not going to step forward and take that action and maybe stand on a stage in front of strangers and try to make them laugh. You're not going to take those steps because your belief system is saying, oh no, it's never going to work for me. I can't do this. It's not until you change your belief system. Matter, all this stuff that we have that we're made of, it's just energy vibrating at a fast rate of speed, and that's where we get matter from. So your thoughts also affect that energy. Since thoughts are energy, it's also affecting all of that kind of stuff. It's affecting things, even physicality. There are people with multiple personality disorder that when they slide into one personality, suddenly they have diabetes. That will go away when they slide into another personality. And on very rare occasions, eye color will change, scars will appear and disappear, different medical conditions, all that stuff will happen. So you can really affect your life with how you think, and you do. The difficult part about that is that subconsciously that's happening as well. I've had friends say to me, come on, I'm trying to be positive and nothing's working. Well, yeah, you got this big block of negative and you put smear a little bit of positive on it and nothing's going to happen there. But you can sit there and you can use the law of attraction and you can use The Secret and you can sit there and think, I want these things to happen. I want this good thing to happen to me. And what you're doing, I call it stirring the quantum soup. You're affecting the quantum field around you. You're affecting reality. What actually happens is suddenly opportunities show up, or you notice something that was there all along. It's like you're thinking of buying a VW Bug, and suddenly they're everywhere. You just notice them more. So all of this mental gymnastics creates kind of a tension and brings opportunities to you. But the thing is, you have to take action, because without action, the opportunities will come and go, and you will not have achieved this dream that you say that you want. Nothing happens until you take action. I mean, sure, you may be great at bringing opportunities your way, but if you don't move on beyond that, if you don't step into the next room of the door that just opened to you, you're never going to know what it's like. Katie can, all she wants to do, if all she wants to do is become a stand-up comic, she can go to stand-up, open mic night, she can go and hang out with her friends, but until she steps up on stage and walks through that door, all she's doing is really kind of just creating the opportunities. And that's not what we're talking about in our life. We're talking about actually achieving those dreams, having some success in those dreams. And that comes through action. Taking action, Jackson.
So what have you done? What have you done in the recent history that you took these steps? You made a positive change in your life. You had the positive mentality. Opportunity presented itself, and you took action.
Well, one of the obvious things right now is this live show. I didn't think I was ready for it yet. I thought it was going to take up too much of my time. Doing something for an hour with just me talking, and sure, I'll have other people there, but I have to come up with the material or at least the talking points, and I'm used to working, along with other people, which is why I like this setup. But I didn't think I was ready for this. And soon after the first and second show, I strongly felt that I was glad that this happened. But it wouldn't have happened unless I took that action.
So what have you found to be true and not true? You had some negative thoughts about it. It's going to take up too much time, too much work to do. You had some positive thoughts, obviously, about you were really attracted to it. You could reach people better this way, have the interaction. What have you found to be true once you took the action to do the live shows?
Well, one of the things that really helped me, and a lot of the things I've done, is doing the video blogs. It's gotten me comfortable just talking in front of a camera. It's got me comfortable just kind of rambling on and being able to put thoughts together as I go. So I was just thinking about this the other day, is that I have a live show. That's a thing for me. Instead of going, well, I kind of put something together and I kind of have this thing. It's like, no, I have this. I'm an online motivational guy, and that's really become that's really kind of created a foundation for me to see, well, what else can I do? How else can I help people? How else can I reach out? What do people need? So that was one of the truths that I actually realized with this. Now, one of the things that I grew up with ADD, and sometimes I'm concerned that I'll lose my train of thought, especially if I have too much adrenaline. I can't access my points or anything like that. I was concerned that I'd get in the middle of something and just lose my way and be so uncomfortable that I couldn't get it back, and that hasn't happened. And I actually have the Tortuga Twin show to help for that, because we created a forum and where we screw up is funny. It's part of the show. So I do the same thing with my video blogs. I do the same thing with the live show. It's just, whatever happens, happens. I was talking to Big C today, and I wasn't able to get Stickcam to work because I was using Google Chrome. And I was like, okay, I may have to be a call-in. You just move forward, and so the show must go on. So to think that I couldn't do that's not part of that consciousness anymore. And all of this coming around from actually taking action.
Yeah. I see here, it's Kirsten wrote, seeking out a therapist and committing to going was her action. That, I can speak from experience too. That's a huge step to take, to decide to get help for whatever it is you're seeking help on.
Right.
And just the action of doing it is, she's right. She says here, that was a big action. And absolutely, it is.
I'm a big fan of therapists. I mean, you get to pay somebody to listen and talk to you, and they're not like your friends. They actually have a professional opinion. So, and because they're not like your friends, and they're not trying to be your friend, they're gonna give you the straight poop, and hopefully help you move forward or beyond what it is that you're working through.
Right. Now, you kind of touched on it. What was your greatest fear, going back to the fear show last week, what was your greatest fear approaching the live show? Was it that you would just get so uncomfortable the show would die?
That I couldn't carry it, I think. That I wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't have enough to talk about for an hour. And as you know, I think our first few shows, especially the stuff on romance and relationships, were well over an hour. now when we come to that hour, we kind of look for, okay, it's time to stop it here. We're at that hour. So we have plenty to talk about. It certainly helps having everybody chiming in. Certainly helps. I love having you, Big C. I love having Ronnie Rocks here when she's here. Naomi Mimi when she's rocking out the chatterbox. Rock Girl when she's in there as well. So it does help having a lot of my team here.
But if we weren't here, you could carry it, right?
Could I do it? I'm glad I don't have to find out. Why? Are you trying to beg off?
Well, I have.
You want out?
I have learned.
You want out?
Yes, I want out. This is it.
You bring me into the bear crawling nation and you leave me high and dry? I don't think so.
Have you looked up the definition of bear crawling? It's painful.
No, I'm scared. I'm scared.
So everybody's getting hats on in the side panel.
I see it. I'm trying to ignore it. We've got a sheep. Okay, this is for the listening audience that doesn't know. We have a side panel where we have 5 people, 6 people who are able to show little video stuff of them. And often they're sitting there and they're pretty cool. But sometimes they'll just do random things while we're talking about something serious. So I got to pay homage to them. The very, very top, Hello Kelly, has a stuffed sheep there. Now, Denny Dimples is brand new tonight, so she's not done anything. She's got her hand over her mouth just looking shocked and nervous. And, of course, Princess is rocking the Hello Kitty hat.
It's amazing to me that Detached Lotus and David both have wrestling masks on.
Yes. And Anya Meth, which I'm probably still butchering her name, is just intelligently looking into the screen. Okay, no, teach us. Give us more.
So, I was starting to say earlier that I have found, at least in podcasting, your worst fear will come about at some point, and that's when you yeah, and that's probably life. It's probably life, honestly. But I paid more attention to my experiences through all the different podcasts I've done and worked with. But yeah, I mean, mine was, computer malfunctions, and of course I've had a ton of those that I've had to learn to just carry on, So I'm just telling you, just to be warned, your worst fear, if it's not carrying, something will happen. We'll have to carry it. Not that to you. I'm just saying. Be prepared, my friend.
Right.
Take action.
Well, I think that what happens there is if you keep a positive attitude, then it's just something like, oh, I'm really scared of this. Okay, now you get to face it. Okay, good. Now I'm not scared of it anymore. It happens enough time, I can get even used to it. You can get used to anything. So you take enough actions out there, you're going to get used to your most standing on stage doing stand-up has got to be one of the worst fears out there. I mean, when I'm on stage, I'm with 2 other guys, and I have kind of a script to go through. We throw out a lot of improv, but that's not the same as, here's my personal comedy, and I'm going to share it with you, and the crowd is silent. You can get used to that. Oh, look, I got to go up and be funny again or not be funny again. Hopefully you'll get better, but you can get used to anything. So if I had to do a show all by myself, I still hope people would listen. And I would talk a lot more, even more than now, which is highly unbelievable.
I scanned through it and see where you're tackling it, but tying last week's show with Dancing with Fear for this week's, just because I'm curious, what do you believe is the best way to face your fear, to deal with the fear in the sense of taking action?
Simply, I think I use the example of I have a fear of spiders, and one of the things I want to do is go to a pet store and have them put tarantulas on me. So that's one way to do it. My co-author Serena Stone was in Costa Rica recently, and she just did bungee jumping, and they actually filmed it and showed her, and I was just like, oh, hell no. But I could see she was really nervous, but she just did it. It's exposing yourself to that. Exposing yourself to your fear. As long as it's not something that's going to hurt or damage you. Damage is the key. That physically damage you, mentally damage you. A little bit of pain will sometimes help you grow. Working out, you're actually tearing down the muscles so they can grow back stronger. That's a different kind of hurt. But if something's damaging, you don't want to do that.
Hey, a little mental damage will help you get through the world. That's what I'm saying.
A little mental damage. I think that helps us get through the show.
It does. I see a good quote coming up.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, it is. This one is from Jack Canfield. One of the functions of belief is taking action. Now, Jack Canfield is a Chicken Soup for the Soul guy. He also wrote the Success Principles, which, I got Rock Girl calling in. Hang on a second. Rock Girl.
Hold on 1 second.
She calls and tells us to hold on.
I'm calling
No, I
you.
did that because I was trying to mute the mic.
Did you do it? So while you're doing that, Jack Canfield, he wrote the Success Principles, and I cannot recommend that book highly enough. It comes in audio form, but it's just I think it's abridged. But the first 60 pages, there is so much meat in there as far as chasing and catching your dreams, achieving goals, doing things, taking action, both inner and outer action, which we're going to get into in just a minute. So it's a big white book, big enough to choke a mule, and I recommend it highly, by Jack Canfield, The Success Principles.
Okay, can you
So,
hear
Rock
me?
Girl, I can hear you.
I tried to put the thing on mute and it wouldn't cooperate, and it was muting everything. So I couldn't even hear Skype.
Because you rock.
We
Hence
must
the name
have
Rock.
some serious lag.
Possibly.
So, what are you just calling to say hi, or do you actually yelling in something from the chatterbox?
Actually, I was calling to see if I could do this because it's the first time I've been online talking in the chat room, but there was some other stuff I wanted to bring up if I can find it in the chatterbox from back a ways, and I can't find it this second, but I will just be
That's
quiet
right.
until-
When you find it, you go ahead and chime in then.
Thank you.
Now, I brought up Jack Canfield because we're going to talk about a little bit of what he says about inner and outer actions. Says there's two kinds of action. There's inner action, there's outer action. Outer actions is the steps that you take, the things you do out in the world to achieve your goals and get those things that you want. For me, it's making a list. Growing up ADHD as I did, I have a hard time keeping on task. But if I've made a list, then at least I can go, okay, which ones am I going to tackle now? So, and checking it twice. Yes, making a list and checking it twice. Thank you, Chatterbox. As you make those lists, then you set your goals. I'm going to hit this today, and I'm going to do this and this and this. You take your baby steps towards those goals. Figuring out what those are. Okay, I want to achieve this goal here, and it's going to take me doing this, 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 and then this, this, this. And you just hit one of those, every one of those one at a time. Those are your outer actions. Those are the actions you would take you, to roadmap you on your way to achieve your goals. Catch your dreams. Everything like that there.
So, besides, we know about the public speaking as one of your dreams. Besides that, what's a large dream that you've been working slowly down your list like this, making your outer actions and taking your baby steps? What's the big goal for you?
Well, I have a couple of projects in the fire, not just Mordant World, but also Tortuga Twins. The Tortuga Twins are currently working on a video game that we may release by the end of this year. It may take a little longer. We're not exactly sure how it's what platform it's going to be on, but that's one goal that we had, something that we wanted to do, something that we wanted to share a little more fun with people.
Yeah, and that's a really cool thing right there.
For me, I've also enjoyed performing on camera. I like doing film acting. And I think it's the end of June, the end of July, somewhere in there. The end of June, I'll be on the West Coast, Northwest. Up there filming.
To do what?
To be in a film. And so I'm excited about that.
So you've been setting forth your baby steps to get to all of these. I mean, this is something that you've been doing your outer actions for.
Those are things that I'm doing the outer actions for. you know, you do your due diligence. For me, with the on-camera acting, it's going to my acting class here in Arizona. And I can just give a shout out to the Phoenix Film Institute of Scottsdale. Peter Stelz, Peter Stelzer and Marla Finn, and Princess has been there in those classes. They are fantastic. So that's, you know, part of my due diligence as far as that goes. What about you, Charles? What have you been doing?
Every waking moment that I'm not tied to work or to the family, I'm doing something for the Bear Calling Nation. It's not building new shows. It's putting out videos about podcasting. It's, you know, working with you and your shows here and getting all that ready for launch in April. Working with David on the website, getting that ready. Always lighting about 3 or 4 fires that'll hopefully come to fruition, you know, a couple months down the road to a year or two down the road. You know, hopefully not everything will burn down at once. That's the problem with lighting fires, is you got to manage it. But all my goals, my goals are to do what we do here. It's to produce and to manage and to talk and to entertain and build the true Bear Calling Nation. And everything I do, man, every step I take, from being in the job to working with my family, it all ends up there.
Yeah, I definitely like I like to entertain and educate, because when you do both, it's a great combination. Yeah. I personally learn a lot more when I'm entertained, and I'll pay a lot more attention when I'm entertained as well. And I think you do that. I've listened to your shows. I've been on your shows, and I think you do that.
Try.
With conviction, yeah!
That's all right. But we all take outer actions and stuff. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. I could talk for days on what I do to make my marriage better, to try to raise my kids better, to build better friendships, or, you know, yourself. But I mean, I think you and I ultimately are heading on the same path of what we do right this second, what we're doing right now, is a small part of what we really want to do in the future with our lives. You know, focus all of our attention on Mordant World and all of our attention on Bear Calling, and do that together.
Bigger, badder, better, more. One of the things that I've said is I want to be as creative as I am. I want to reach out and help people that I have helped, but on a bigger level. I want to touch the world. You know, one of the things that I found so impressive is J.K. Rowling, when she began writing in 1990, she began writing the Harry Potter series. In 10 years, she literally touched the world. It had gone global by that time, and I don't know how many languages it's been reprinted in. Even in Latin. I think the first book there's a copy in Latin that you can acquire.
Wow.
So, but wait a minute, before we move on, you talked about some of the things that you're pursuing. What are some of your outer actions that you're taking? You know, whether it's, you talked about doing a podcast video or producing Bear Crawling, or working on new shows. What's your new show that you're working on, and what are you doing to do that?
Oh, dude, I've got a couple of irons. If I'm working with one of my tech guys to talk history and tech toys, and what I do with that is when I meet with him, not only does he help internally, he's kind of my database manager, and he handles all of my data and stuff on the back end. But we used to have great conversations, and I hate politics. I could talk to him about politics. So when we talk, after we deal with our business, I always encourage him and say, man, we have these great conversations. Let's put it on tape. Let's get it down. You know, so I pursue him. I've got another one that you sent my way that I'm monitoring just to kind of see where they go. I'm always putting it out there that we look for more shows in the Bear Calling Nation. We look to help you help us. And part of that is I started a channel on YouTube called Bear Calling Nation that is about the business of podcasting. I've already got a guy who caught the videos and was asking questions, and he's done a little 3-minute podcast I'm going to listen to, and maybe I can help him out. But those are the outer actions, is contacting people. When I find somebody that engages me, like you did, like you've engaged me in talking, and you open up a new part of the world that I didn't know anything about, like the affirmations and the positive mentality. Because I mean, all of us can be honest. At some point, we've seen the cheesy guy on the stage going, "You can be a better you by following my plan for 30." Mr. Man, I like that. Our Mordant Mahon brought it in a different way that opened up the way I see the world. And when I find people like you, I go, okay, what can I do to get you on just talking about this to everybody who's ever out there? It's not that I believe in your message, it's I believe in what you're saying. I believe in you, I guess. So when I find people like that, I try to get them to do podcasts, and that's how I try to get new shows going. Or I find somebody's already doing that and see if I can't help them get bigger, better, more.
Bigger, better, more, baby. So are you saying you don't believe my message? Is that?
Hey, look, it says something about interactions here. No, I'm not saying that I don't believe your message. What I'm saying is, it's not that I buy in. I just approach life differently than most people. So it's not that I heard the positive affirmation thing and I went, oh, that's for me. It's I heard how you approach life and it caught my attention. And then I saw that you and I say the same things in different ways. And that's very important to me, is having somebody say something in a different way. And look at you. You got a whole wall of girls, including the one at the very bottom. I mean,
yeah.
You touch people showing up. Different crowd than that would show up to my shows. And that's important because you're saying the same thing I'm saying in life and you're reaching different people that I couldn't reach.
Right. First thing I want to throw out right now is I just noticed that my fan is on. Is anybody having any trouble hearing me at all?
No.
Okay, then I'm hoping I'm going to leave it on and hopefully the recording will be fine. I want to say hi to, where'd you go? Who just came into my 623? Did you just call in?
I think somebody came in Skype and then they're not there now.
And then they went away. Okay, yeah, they're gone now. Okay. Well, never mind then. So now we want to talk about, did you have something to say, Princess?
Well, I just wanted to say that when I started talking to you about like the 6 healing sounds and like all that kind of stuff, it really did change my outlook on stuff, because the things that you kind of learn from doing that kind of stuff, and like Big C was saying with the affirmations, is that you kind of create your own world. If you're going to change, if you don't like what's going on in your life and you want to change it, you have to do it. It's not I wish things would get better and I'm going to keep doing the same exact thing that I've been doing and hope that it does. You need to make the big changes in your life and expect the big results.
Right. Now, for those who don't know,
I definitely noticed huge differences. So. Good.
Awesome. Yeah, the same thing for me when I started doing that. What Chicky 3737, also known as Princess, is talking about is the inner smile and 6 healing sounds. It is a universal healing Tao, not the religion, the philosophy. Universal healing Tao, energy work meditation. And the person who put this forward is a self-proclaimed Christian. So it slides into any religion or whatever. It's just like acupuncture. So what you're doing is you're manipulating energy inside of you. And you're helping to balance all of that out. With this meditation, for me, I had a lot of anger. And it was just waiting to attach to somebody. So if somebody would talk to me a certain way, they're the lucky winner. And I had all this anger that was built up over something else that I would dump on them. Now I'm a lot more balanced. Although I do have my angry moments, as some of my team will know. But that's what she's talking about. And she says that it changed her life. It certainly changed mine. And some of the things that I went through, as far as that goes. Now, 623, I think that's Anya Nemeth. Anya Meth?
Aya Nemeth. You can just call me Aya. The Nemeth is the last name.
Let's just call her
Aya Nemeth.
Just because she's
smoking. Call me what you want.
I'm adding you to my contacts.
I just had something that I recently read that I wanted to share.
Yeah, go ahead. Fire away.
I don't know if you've read the book Eat, Pray, Love. Probably not. It's more of a girl's book. But there's this one part in it where she says she heard the story when she was in India of this man that would pray to God every day and say, please dear Lord, please God, let me win the lottery. And finally he talked to him and said, my son, please buy a lottery ticket. And I just think that's
Yeah.
my favorite quote I've ever heard, because it's so true.
Absolutely.
I think there's a
Absolutely.
lag
Please,
in
God.
this. Sorry.
Please God, give me this. Please God, do this. Or please, universe, I really want this. Well, what do you, what steps are you taking? Hey, help me learn to play the guitar. Well, buy a guitar. Practice. You have to go through the same thing everybody else does. Help me to become a good business person. And then all of a sudden these hardships come. It's like, well, once you learn how to do these things, you're going to be a good business person. People think, oh, it's just bad luck. No, it's training. I think that's the same thing it is with life. When hardships come our way and they're not really, we have to wrestle with them. It's not that the universe is out to get us. It's training to make us stronger people so we can hang our bigger, badder, better, more. It doesn't just come to you. I think we've seen it when it comes to people and it just seems like it's dumped in their lap. Was it some ridiculous amount? Like 70% of the people who win the lottery go bankrupt in 5 years because they're not used to having that kind of money. They have to sink back down to whatever their financial thermostat is set at so that they're comfortable again. So I think a lot of times when the hardships come our way, it's just, okay, it's training so that you can be ready for bigger, badder, better, more.
Totally.
I don't know that quote, but I know Truett Cathy, founder of Chick-fil-A and a lot of his restaurants nationwide now, he failed at something like 14 or 15 businesses, some big number, before he was successful with a chicken sandwich restaurant. And he said if he hadn't failed at those other restaurants or those business ventures, he would not have succeeded in what he did.
Right. Right, absolutely, because it taught you your mistakes. Same thing with Robert Kiyosaki, the guy who wrote all the Rich Dad, Poor Dad books. He goes through, he does real estate stuff. But I think he and then somebody else invented the Velcro zipper or Velcro thing on the side of the Nike shoes or the side of the shoes. And they were the ones that first came out with that. And what they didn't do was trademark it. And, or whatever you have to do. I don't think trademark's the word. And so somebody else came out with another one and patent it. They didn't patent it or didn't patent it well enough. They like $3,000 what they had to do. And so everybody else came out with this and they lost a lot of money. But because of that, he learned what to do for his other businesses. It was training. We think of these bad things that come at us as horrifying, but good things come our way, if we can use them that way. There's a guy, and I'm so sorry, I can't remember his name, that went into, I think he was in Vietnam. He was stuck in an internment camp, or stuck in a prisoner of war camp. He was there for many years. And, most people would think, oh, you've lost all those years. What good was that? How awful. But while he was in there, in order to keep himself sane, he used that time to, look at his life and see what he needed to do to fix in it. And he went on to become a motivational speaker, all because of the time he spent in that camp. So, was it a horrible thing? Absolutely. Did he use it for something better? Absolutely. Training.
I got a quick question for Anya. You're talking about Eat, Pray, Love. It's a chick book. Have you not seen our Mordant Mahon? I almost guarantee he owns 3 copies of that book.
I have not read that book, but I will say I love chick flicks. They are my weakness. Notting Hill is probably my favorite of them. I have not read Eat, Pray, Love. I saw the movie and thought it was okay. But that's just a movie thing.
The book is better than the movie.
Is it? All right, maybe I'll listen to it.
A lot better.
I'm going to give another plug to audible.com because I don't have time to listen to read books. I listen to most of my books now.
So not to push you, but you're running on time and you work with your list. You might want to move to interaction.
Thank you. Right now we're going to talk about interactions. We've talked about outer actions, those steps that we take, but what is that? What are those due diligence that keeps us going on the road to achieve what we want? And again, I'm citing Jack Canfield. I got to give him the props for this because he's the one that brought this about. And I've been reading his stuff lately or listening to his stuff lately. So you're getting a lot of Jack Canfield tonight. Interaction are those things that you do on the inside that positively affect what you're working on or working towards on the outside. One of the things that we had talked about earlier is meditation. Meditation or energy work. It centers and grounds you. you know, so that you're not flighty everywhere. It helps keep all of your, you know, your emotions in balance, so that you're not overly one thing or another and just waiting to attach it to somebody. You know, some people say, or it's actually been proven, they've done testing on it, it puts you into a state of bliss. It relaxes the mind. And when you're in a state of bliss, you have a better chance of seeing all the opportunities in front of you. Sean Acor in The Happiness Advantage, he talks about the difference between flight or fright and just being happy. You know, a lot of us think that, you know, success breeds happiness. And what they're finding scientifically is that actually happiness breeds success. So when you're in flight or flight mode, you know, the tiger is jumping out at you, you need to think of doing one or two things, either running or fighting the animal. So everything just shrinks down to that moment. So you're, you know, really intense. And so you can deal with it, so you can survive. However, when you're happy, what happens is you relax and your focus widens, so you can see all the opportunities around you. So if you're really, really comfortable and you're challenged by different things, then you're able to sit back and just go, oh, well, I can see this opportunity, or I can see this answer to that question, or I can see this answer to that question. So meditation helps you do that. It keeps you into a state of bliss. Well, you can maintain your calm. Even in the midst of the sea, you're at the eye of the storm. So you're able to go, oh, I just need to do this. Somebody is yelling and screaming at you. If you can keep calm, you can go, well, here's my points, and here's what I say to you know, to what you're doing. As opposed to, oh, I'm scared, I'm going to run, or I'm going to fight this guy. Those are my only two options. If you're in a state of bliss, you still have those two options. You can still run or fight the guy, but you can also have other choices. Hey, why don't we become friends? Why don't we talk about what's really bothering you? So meditation will help you do that. Or prayer, or however you get to that state of bliss. I'm not locked into any one thing. What works for you? That's the thing. What works for you? What helps connect you to the divine? What helps you connect to being able to see all those opportunities?
Is that like the term, people use the term centered or balanced? Is that kind of what you're equating it to?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Grounded is another way to put it.
Well, I mean, just in my mind, when I hear it puts you in a state of bliss, so I first thought, is that like getting high, or, you know, I didn't, but now I understand more when you're talking about it gives you that balance.
Right.
You can't be rocked off your base that easily.
Right. Absolutely. That's right. That's absolutely it. So the next thing, the interaction that you could take is, for me, a personal favorite is affirmations. You know, you give your mind a positive place to dwell, no matter what the circumstances. For me, when I first started doing affirmations, there were times where I was just always so, you know, oh, I'm worried about this is going to happen. I'm worried about, the live show, maybe I'm not going to be great tonight, or whatever else is going to happen. You're always worried about that. But if you have, you know, if you do your affirmations and you do it on a regular basis, then when the negative things happen to you, you're going to go there. If I have something bad happens to me, you know, or something doesn't work out for me, I'm so happy and grateful that life, the universe, God is always out to help me and ever conspiring to bring me good. Life, the universe, God, take your pick or use all three, is always out to help me or ever conspiring to bring me good. You know, I have a Mordant World meetup coming up this Friday, and the place that I was going, that I was trying to get a hold of, was a bookstore that I can't remember the word for it now. Was kind of a woo-woo bookstore that I wanted to get into, and they weren't available to me at all. So I have I called a bookstore that is much closer, and they're like, yes, of course. So life, the universe, God is always out to help me, ever conspiring to bring me good. Oh, I didn't get that promotion in my job, or I lost my job. And then that person goes on to follow their dream and actually has a much better life than before. So if you think about it, you know, that losing the job was actually probably the greatest benefit. Life, the universe, God is always out to help me, ever conspiring to bring me good. That's just one of my affirmations. My mind goes there when the bad stuff starts happening. And it sinks in. It becomes part of my belief system. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Charles.
I keep stepping on you. I'm sorry. I don't mean to step on you. I thought you were there. Um, I wouldn't see. I always say things differently. I don't think about that, but I do aspire to the school of, or subscribe to the school of, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, which is the same way, a different way of saying the same thing. And you look for the better outcome. And when I got word last February, a year ago, basically, that my office was shutting down, that kicked me into high. I'd been really lazy about the podcasting, about growing anything. I was just kind of staying in my little circle, and it kicked me into high gear to get motivated to do what I love. And then I really sat down and talked with you like 2 months after that, and it's exploded since then. What we do,
right.
And who we do with it, and using that mental image. And some people just don't like that word affirmation. They don't like the word God, universe, But it's not just about being positive. It's about how you look at life. It's just not being negative. Oh, my job's ending, so my life's over. It's one thing I've learned is life goes on no matter what happens to you. And not to be lied about the situation, but 9/11 happened. A lot of horrible things happened. Life moves. It doesn't go on. It doesn't forget about it, but life moves. And you got to realize that. And what doesn't literally kill you can make you stronger. It can keep you going. And
right.
You always need to look at what's next.
Right, and both the affirmations and the meditation, they affect, like I said, it'll begin to alter your belief system. Words are very powerful, and you hear yourself saying, I can't, and your body reacts to that. Physically, you will react to that. And what happens when you start doing these things, it starts sinking in. It begins to sink in so that you do believe, I can do this. I'm able to do all these different things. So you're actually changing who you are from the inside out. That is where I get the term quantum manifestation. You're manifesting something from the inside out, from the smallest part of your being, and it's going to begin to affect your life, rippling outward. 480, hi. You just called
Hi.
in. Who is this?
Yes. My name's Brittany. I'm calling on behalf of my friend Shepard. She and I have watched your show for a little while, so we're kind of nervous though because we've never done anything like this before. Basically, we're still in school, and we've got these kind of ridiculous dreams. Like she wants to do theatrical things as well as I, but we've got like the 4.0 GPA and like the parents who are just always kind of pressuring us to make something of ourselves when what we really want to do is, according to them, it would be the equivalent of throwing your life away. In this situation, what do you do?
Can I ask real quick?
Go ahead.
When you say make something of yourself, that's parent speak for get a job and secure your future, right?
Yeah. She's so smart she could be a biochemist.
Right.
Not so much for me. But
What do they want you to pursue?
well, in my case, it would be being a psychologist or a lawyer. Oh, you mean what we want to pursue instead of what they want us to do?
No. I meant what do they want you to pursue? So a psychologist or a lawyer?
Yeah, for me. And for her, something along the same lines, something very scientific, very analytical that pays a lot of money. And what we're looking at, when you're in the theater business, you don't always get a lot of money, but it's just something that we've been talking about a lot, and it's something that we really, really want to do.
Well, before I went on the road with the Tortuga Twins full time, I was a waiter. And before that, I was doing odd jobs and stuff. And actually, for me, going on the road actually gave me direction in my life. But my waiting job supported my summer touring habit for a long time until it actually took off. And now I support myself and I've gone much farther than I could have, if I'd pursued the other thing. So, is it possible that you can do both? Are they going to be paying for your schooling, or do you have a scholarship, or?
We're looking at a bunch of scholarships right now. I don't
How old are you?
mean to sound egocentric at this point. I just realized that I might. I'm 16 to 17, so yeah, we're kids. We're still in our teens, but you know, this is something that we're really passionate about. It gives us drive. It gives us, you know, balance in our lives.
Absolutely, and talking to me, you're gonna get follow your dreams, follow your passion. But right now you're 15 and 17, or 16 and 17.
Yeah. 16
And your parents are telling you to do one thing. Until you hit 18, you're gonna, you know, that's kind of where you're at. But try to work it in such a way that you can do both. Are you preferring theater, or do you do on-camera acting, or are you behind, you know, backstage, or what do you do?
We are both looking at theatrical troupes, separate ones,
Okay.
actually, but it's a shared passion of ours.
Right.
And her more than me just got drilled her whole life. Go to college, be somebody. And, you know, like, it almost feels like we're betraying the people that care most about us. And we know that they just want us to be happy, but at this point it doesn't seem like that stuff is going to make us happy.
Well, can I ask you, though, do you have to pick one or the other? Can you not pick a school for acting or theater work, or go to school to get some kind of training that will bring you money and let you do acting as well?
I think we could do that.
Yeah. Can you double major?
I think that I could. I don't know if she can. And I'm calling.
There's that, and I found that when it comes to theater or on-camera stuff, both of those, you can take all the classes at a college that you want, but really, you really want to go somewhere with it, join a theater troupe. You really want to go somewhere with it, you know, get into an acting class, whether it be on camera or theater, and then start doing films, start doing plays. You could be doing, summer stock. You could be doing, community theater. You could be, auditioning for plays at the at the university where you're learning to become a lawyer or doctor or whatever it is. So you can keep that as your side passion that you can still do. But absolutely you should follow your passion. People get sick because they don't follow their passion.
Did you get a lot of encouragement when it came
I'm sorry?
to... I'm sorry. I think somebody picked up the other line. Did you get a lot of discouragement when it came to joining the Tortuga Twins?
Well, I formed the Tortuga Twins, and my mom was always... She had friends that... My dad passed away by that time, but she had friends that were owned a funeral parlor. And she wanted me to go and be a mortician. And it wasn't until I invited her to come out on the road. She visited a festival. In fact, it was the Arizona show. And she got to see my show there. She'd seen it elsewhere. But she got to see my show. And she got to meet the other people who were doing different things. Don Juan Miguel, different things like that. She got to meet all of them and see how they live. She was like, okay, I get it now. And what's interesting is that in an economy where we have people who are 10% unemployment set to 17% unemployment, I'm pretty stable. I've been doing my gig I've been doing Tortuga since 87 and on the road since 90. And now I'm making a good living at it. Now, do I want to do more? Obviously, because I'm beginning to do more. Am I trying to reinvent myself with the motivational thing? Absolutely. But it's also a passion of mine. Now Tortuga Twins has become my bread and butter, which I love, but this is also a passion of mine now. Am I going to give up my one job, the Tortuga Twins? No. That'd be silly because it actually helps promote me. It actually helps get me to where I'm going. Much like, whether you are a lawyer or a doctor, that kind of money would help you be able to do more theater, depending on how much time you could spend doing it, though. But if it becomes a choice between doing what's right for you or what's right for your parents, ultimately it's going to have to be you. Yes, respect them. Yes, right now while they're paying for everything. It won't necessarily be a bad thing that you're going to go on and have a career where you're making a lot of money. so that you can choose to do the smaller shows because you love them.
Thank you.
And
Speaking,
not
speaking from personal experience. Sorry. Speaking for myself, because I kind of went through the same thing where I actually didn't go to college. I decided not to, and ended up pursuing film and theater. I've gotten to do a lot of theater in the past, and that's been fun, and it's definitely the thing that I love. I love performing. And, you know, I have gotten to do some pretty cool movies out of it, but I'll always be struggling for money because I didn't go to college. I did not get the degree. I'm always going to be having, you know, the $9, $10 an hour jobs. And that's the hard part of it. And you have to understand that when you are looking at the decision of going to college or not, that it's hard either way, whichever you choose. You know, if you do go to college and you do major in theater or whichever things you are doing, that might be a better step, because at least you have something that if this doesn't work out, you can always go back to that and you can be successful at it.
Now, I want to throw in something.
Like
I'm sorry, go ahead, Katie. God bless lag.
People have been saying in the chat room that some people have gotten degrees and it hasn't really done much for them. But, you know, going to college I think is an important step for my friends. It's been a very important step in having them grow up, and kind of it's a way in between having to be in the real world and still being in kind of your kids' school years. So keep that in mind. All right, go ahead, sorry.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to throw in something from the chatterbox. Dave throws out, please tell her that not having a degree will hinder you. I moved. Plus the overall experience is worth it. Hang on, let me finish with this. Tabula rasa fit. I'm sorry, probably saying it wrong. A degree won't walk you in. It just opens up more doors. And then toxic, blah, 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 says you talk to the Renfest performers, 98% of them have college degrees. Now, you have a degree, you're going to be able to get a better job. You're going to be able to have a better whatever. You know, as far as the doctoring, the lawyering, or the business, you could have a business degree or whatever that is. The same is not necessarily true when it comes to theater and film. The best stuff for them, often, it's just going and doing. You do not need a theater degree to work in a theater. They won't care. You will not need a theater degree to work in film. You just need to know how to do it. You can do that from acting classes. It sounds like you want to be an actress one way or the other. You can do that acting classes, and you can find those anywhere, even if you're at a college somewhere. If you're going to go to college here in the Sun Valley, I could throw you, if you want on-camera acting, again, the people from Phoenix Film Institute, great. And certainly other people from that class are going to be able to tell you where other classes are. But it's not a bad thing having a backup plan. You know, it's also not a bad thing if you want to be a performer, having some truth behind being able to play those doctor roles or lawyer roles or whatever roles. Hey, look, I actually studied this. I can bring that to my acting now. Absolutely follow your dream and your passion. Absolutely.
But
having the bread and butter to back you up is not a bad thing. So go ahead, Charles.
Well, you can be smart about it. It's not an either or thing. Life is not black and white. We do things in stages. When I was 16, 17, I wanted to be a rock star. And I worked toward, and my parents pushed that away. And I went to college only because they basically told me I had to. And I picked something I wanted to study, and I did it, but that path was not for me. I have a degree that really does nothing for me, but I also went to paramedic school and got a skill that allows me to put food on the table and take care of my family while I do my passion. So it's not just black and white. And the thing is, if they're going to pay for school, why not get it? My wife is always telling me for the rest of my life, I need to keep my paramedic numbers because I'll always have a job I can fall back on. And to a point, she's right. We have a deep discussion about it. I won't go into here. But basically, if they're going to pay for college, pick a major you're going to enjoy, pick a job that you can enjoy doing, and you can still pursue acting. You don't have to pick one or the other. Why would you want to be a starving artist? I mean, why would you actively choose to starve in the pursuit of your plans? I think Hollywood has messed with that too much. And I think our parents are too harsh on you have to have a job and a career. But Hollywood's also going, oh, well, look, Ryan Reynolds got discovered at a pizza place. And not necessarily, he, just like you, Mordant, you worked and you supported yourself. And then you slowly but surely did what you love. But it took a while before Tortuga became your bread and butter, didn't it? It wasn't just, oh, this one summer, boom, it was done. It took work. And you should keep that in mind. Your parents will respond to you being responsible and saying, I like doing this. I will do this degree. You know, or I'll go to college, or here's how I can get a job now and take care of myself, because they just want to know you can take care of yourself.
Yeah, you see those people who are just discovered, you know, oh, look, this person got discovered doing this thing. What they don't tell you about is all the hard work that they really did put into it, all the hours it took. You know, again, Malcolm Gladwell in his book, The Outliers, talked about that study that they did following around people from the Berlin Academy of Music, you know, following violin players to see what was the difference between people who just went on to become teachers, people who went on to be in just a regular orchestra, and people who went on to become the best of the best. And the difference was the amount of practice they put into it. You know, 1,000 hours was the people who became teachers. You know, 5,000 to 8,000 hours, those were the people that were in an orchestra and who made a good living at it. The best of the best, 10,000 hours. The same thing will be said of all your actors. You ever watch in the actor's studio? It talks about all the work that they put into it. There is no, you know, oh, look, you're a natural. There's all the technical behind it, even behind acting, especially on camera stuff. You know, being able to find your think spots, being able to hit your marks, being able to say your lines and then pass it on to the other person so they can do edits. Otherwise, you're going to have to do it over and over and over again, and they're not going to like you very much. So it does take that kind of work as well. And if it's your passion, absolutely follow it. But I agree with Charles. Why not both? Why not have that foundation while you're doing it? And you don't know who you're going to meet when you go to your acting classes, or you're trying out for your plays. You don't know who you're going to meet there. And you also don't know who you're going to meet in college that might later on be able to help you with your acting. You don't know once you go down that corridor. You just have to trust that this is a friendly universe. And that God, the universe, life is always out to help you and ever conspiring to bring you good. Even if your parents are making you go to some college. You don't know what acting doors are going to open for you there. You just keep that passion alive and keep taking action on that. Are you still here?
I don't think they are.
All right. Oh, here they came back again. Did you get all that? Hello, 480.
Hi. Sorry, I missed that.
Who is it?
My name's Annie.
Annie? Annie Banani?
Yes.
How can we help you, Annie?
I'm sorry?
Are you 4331? Is that your last four digits?
I'm sorry?
Are you 4331? Is that your last four digits of your phone number that I'm looking at? 4331?
No.
Okay, then I'll not put that for that. All right. What do you want to know, Annie Banani?
I'm a junior in high school. I'm 17, and as it's looking right now, I have a full-ride scholarship to Arizona State University, and I'm getting all of these letters from other colleges and everything, and I have all these different opportunities, and I've been in the same house, in the same town my entire life, and part of me wants to get out of here, but is it worth saving the, $8,000 a semester to stay here?
Do you want my personal opinion?
Yeah.
Okay, here's my personal opinion. Personal opinion, not professional, personal opinion. All right? I went away to college, and I went from Tarpon Springs, Florida to Tampa, which is not a big thing, but I moved out of my parents' house and stayed, spent a lot of their money just kind of, going to classes, sure, but not really knowing what I was going to do. To be honest with you, the first couple of years that you're out of high school, it's good for you to keep a little grounded, staying home. You know, unless you have a scholarship far, far away, you know, staying home, saving the money, very important. You know, because you may not see it as your money, and I don't know if it's going to be your parents paying for it or you're going to go in debt for it, but that is a big deal. If you stay home and you can keep some of your wildness down, so that you can actually study and you know where you know what you want to do, and you're going to use that college time to the best of its advantage, or best, you know, to your advantage. Now, don't get me wrong, it is a very worthy experience, but it is a wild time. You know, I don't know how grounded you are, but if you're fairly grounded, then sure, you can do that. If you're worried about the money, then if you have a college that is close to you as well, and that you're going to be able to learn at as well, then groovy, go with that. However, if what you're seeking is far away, you're going to have to follow that. Does that make sense?
It sounds like...
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like...
That's my personal...
Well, am I wrong here? It sounds like it's less about learning and more about getting away. Getting out of there.
Yeah. And I'm looking to major in journalism. And so ASU has the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism, which is top 5 in the country. And so the pros are there for ASU, but I just feel out of place here in Arizona.
Can you stay at the? Do you live right next to ASU? You would drive there?
Like 3 or 4 miles south.
It sounds like your passion to get out of town may hamstring your passion to become a journalist. If you have one of the best schools in the country here, you know, unless you have a god-awful home life, then you're kind of hamstringing yourself. You know, you're taking your best advantage. You're going to spend $8,000 a year to go far away to a school that may not be as good, all because you feel funky. I think find some way to deal with those feelings and take advantage of what you have here. If the best of what you have is in your backyard, suck it up for 4 years. You know, maybe it'll make you work harder so you can get out of the house faster to be a better journalist. You know? But if the best of what you're seeking is elsewhere, then by all means, you know, get the best education you can. But it sounds like everything's right here and you're just feeling antsy. Maybe you just need to learn, maybe you just need to find a way to move out of the house and still go to ASU when you're 18.
Yeah.
You know, don't shoot yourself in the foot because you're like, I got to get out of mom and dad's thing. You know, also staying home, you're going to be a little more focused than when you're out. When you're out and away, you're going to be trying all those new things and doing all those weird things, and you know that go along with college life. You know, you're less likely to do that at home.
Think of college like having floaties. Instead of just diving into the deep end and sinking or swimming in life, college is kind of the learning to get out there. You can jump in, but you're floating because you got your parents to back you up. You know, so hopefully paying for tuition. If you're doing it yourself, it is more like diving into the deep end. But you know, for the last caller and for this one here, it can be an easy transition. So maybe you do 2 years in Arizona to give you better choices to go somewhere else. Maybe you know, if it's just about getting out, maybe you can go to the dorms in Arizona and not live at home. I mean, there's other options. It's not just choice A or choice B. You got the whole alphabet to pick from. Let's stir it up a little bit.
But does it mean that I'm settling for ASU? I mean, they have a 98% acceptance rate. And I'm a really good student. I've got a 4.0 GPA. I'm, you know,
how are they reviewed? How are they thought of for the rest of the country? Are they thought? You just said it was one of the best schools, one of the best journalism schools in the country. Am I wrong?
Looking at I'm sorry?
Am I wrong? I thought you said earlier that they were one of the best journalism schools in the country.
It is.
So how is that settling?
The Walter Cronkite School of Journalism.
Oh my God, how is that settling?
I don't know.
I tell you how it's settling. If somebody makes a choice for you, if you don't want to go, if you make the choice, you're not settling. But if it's not your heart's desire to go there and somebody pressures you into it, then yeah, I agree that's settling. That's letting somebody else choose for you would be settling for it, even if it is the best school in the world. If that's not what you want, where you
It's kind of like what Charles was saying, that you have to always go for a couple of years, and if you want to move on, you can transfer. And I mean, I went to school. I live in Marietta, Georgia, and I went to school at Kennesaw, which is not that far away. And after a couple of years of going there, I kind of walked around Bridgeton one day, looked around, and realized it's time to move. And I moved out to the Kennesaw, close to school and close to work. But just doing that kind of changed it and put a new perspective on me as far as being an adult and just experiences in college and being closer to the action, as it were. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe just moving out of your parents' house and becoming independent and learning that way. And if it doesn't work out, you can always transfer to another school.
How does that sit with you? Annie Banani?
Yes.
How does that sit with you, what David just said?
I get it. I do. And then part of me feels guilty for wanting to leave because my mother is in her second round of chemotherapy for ovarian cancer.
Oh.
And I've got two older brothers who are both, still living at home and all of that. They haven't left yet. They're both pretty close to graduating from ASU. And so I feel like I ought to stay here. But at the same time, I just have this need to get out.
That sometimes you got to realize you're trying to leave because you don't want to deal with what's going on. Sometimes you also got to realize that even though life goes on, life is short. And if you only have this time now to deal with your mother or to help with your mother or spend the time there, then leaving because you just want to or have to, you'll regret that in the future. Because you got to realize, you said you were 17?
Yes.
Future will, you'll live till you're 50, 60, 80, 90, 100 years old. 2, 3, 4 years, and then, you're gone, or you don't have the time that you had now to spend with your mom or your family or whatever. You might regret that. I mean, I think ultimately, and Mordant can really dig into this with you for you. You got to really dive into why you feel like it's time to get out. It doesn't really, honestly, it just doesn't sound like it's school. It doesn't sound like it's your learning. It sounds like there's something else going on of why you want to get out of there.
Well, yeah, but not only that, Charles.
Wait. You said your mom has cancer?
One at a time, please.
Go ahead.
You said your mom has cancer?
Yes.
Okay. My mom actually passed away of cancer when I was 13. And during the last year or two before it happened, we knew that it was coming. But I couldn't, obviously it's a very hard decision. It's very hard to deal with, especially since, you have your two older brothers, and that's who you have there. But I would run away whenever I could. I would go to my friend's house. I would spend the night at my friend's house whenever I could because I didn't want to be in that situation. And honestly, it's something that I regret. I wish that I had spent more time with her because looking back now, looking at it from a more mature point of view, you realize that this is your family. This is, the people that, these are the memories that you're going to have for the rest of your life. So if that's the reason, because it's so incredibly hard to deal with, if that's the reason why you're wanting to leave, be sure to really think about it because you don't want to look back on this and regret that you ran away and went somewhere else. So that's my thought on the matter.
Yeah, I dealt with the same thing when my father passed away in '89. He was in a coma for a while. I didn't go to the hospital once. I just didn't want to deal with it. When my mom passed away in 2000, I actually had plane tickets to see her for the next couple of weeks, and I just missed her by a week, which in a weird way, it was fortuitous because I was able to help close up the house, help do everything. You know, when everybody else had to leave, I was able to come back and take care of business. I liked how I handled things with my mom better than with my dad. And I wish I had even gone in just once. And remember, this is all about our experience we're talking. I think Katie talked about it. You're going to feel bad about yourself later, potentially. You know, and definitely not trying to guilt you because it's all your own experience. It's all your own thing that you're going to have to deal with. But I can only speak for myself. I wish I dealt better with my father. Although he was in a coma, I should have gone in and seen him just once. But I was too young. I was, you know, maybe in my early 20s, in my teens maybe. I was too young. And that's just the way it went. Like I said, I liked it better the way I handled my mom. Even though I didn't get to see her, I was on my way. And that sat better with me. I felt that I at least learned a little bit about that. You're going to have to live with whatever you do here. And, you know, you're still a good person. It's, you know, we all deal with death and sickness differently or in our own way. And it will shape you. And hopefully it's going to shape you in a good way.
But you got to deal, you have to make the choice. Don't let life choose for you. Choose to deal with it or choose to leave or choose your school, but choose. Because the worst regret in life is knowing that you let life happen to you instead of you saying, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, and that gets back to our topic of taking action. You know, don't let it just happen. You know, make that choice. Whether you choose to go away to school and, you know, you come back and visit, you know, just maybe you need that breath of fresh or that space. You come back and visit, or whether you choose to stay here long enough to see, okay, this is affecting my schooling, it's not affecting my schooling. You know, you talked about how you know, they're letting anybody in, so maybe it's not a quality school. If the rest of the country's saying it's great, you know, it's one of the top schools in the country as far as that goes. You know, it sounds like we're talking about designer jeans. What's everybody else wearing? Well, maybe I don't want to go to the one that's right in my back door, even though they say it's the best one or one of the best. I want to go to that one over there because everybody else says that's great. You know, are you shopping for designer jeans at a designer school? Or are you really looking for the best education that's going to open the most doors for you? Which one is it? You know, as a journalist. And maybe, you know, staying at the house, if you decide to stay there, that's something to write about. You can begin a blog and talk about, you know, the things that you're feeling and dealing with somebody in the house that is going through cancer. You know, this will also help you as a writer. Or if you decide to leave, you can write about that. Your feelings after you've left and how that affects you. That will also help you as a writer. But use this either way. As a journalist, as a writer, use it. And try to be there for your family. Because actually what you're winding up doing is being there for yourself. I don't know if we've answered your questions, but choose. It's your life. It's your life. You're the person who's playing this game. And I don't mean game like you're playing a game, but the game of life. It is your choice. You know, it's your life, so you're gonna be the one living it. And either way, it's gonna be a great life for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I love your name, Annie Banana. Annie Banani.
Thanks.
Sure. And you know what? Email, if you don't want to call it back in, as you've made your choices, as life pans out, email it back in, mordant@mordantworld.com, and let us know how it turned out. Because you got to understand, we can only give advice from where we sit and stand in our own lives. What works for us doesn't necessarily work for you. And so we try to give the best advice possible, which, you know, like you were saying, take action, choose. If you want to stay with your mother to be there, choose to stay. Don't do it out of guilt or don't. The best way to avoid regrets is choosing your life. And you may still regret that, but I'm just speaking for myself. There's a lot of things that happened to me in life that I look back on going, if I could just have chosen to live my life or chosen to stay, you know, whatever you choose, you chose. So email us and let us know how it turns out for you.
right.
Yeah,
I will.
Yeah, definitely. Please do. Please do. And that goes with anybody who's we're talking about, especially our two actors who may become lawyers and doctors and, and whatever. Please let us know how everything goes for you. We would love that. I made a decision recently. I chose something recently. Oh, I chose not to do something recently. No. Yes, Jesus. Actually, I played around with doing whips, in a show or whatever, cracking whips for a while. I actually bought some whips, and I was thinking of buying whips again. And I've been, they're selling them at what we call the Bazaar, which happens on Monday at the festival for us, where people will bring stuff and they'll sell stuff and whatever. And some guy makes whips, and he was selling them. And I picked them up, and I went and I played with them a little bit on stage and everything. And I was like, you know what? You can only really do 3 things well. One of those has to be family, relationships, whatever. The other 2, I've already got Tortuga Twins, and I've got my Mordant World stuff. I choose not to do the whips, so I made a choice. I took action. I chose not to do the whips because instead I'm going to be, whenever I'm practicing something, it's going to be practicing whether I'm doing social media or whatnot. So I made that choice, and I thought it was going to be hard. I thought I was going to feel like, oh, I'm missing out on something, but I actually felt pretty good about it. Look, I'm choosing not to clutter my life with this, and I'm going to keep going for my passion, the thing that I'm passionate about. And then I want to throw that out to my little actresses out there who want to be actresses. Absolutely keep doing following your bed, you're doing your bread and butter, taking care of business, being able to pay your bills, but you got to follow those dreams and follow your passion. Same thing with Annie Banani. So that was me. That's what I decided to do this week. I decided not to do whips. How about that? And I felt good about it.
I think that's as good as point as any to
I think we're closing out. We have a little bit more to talk about, which I'm probably going to bring into the next show. The next show, which is happening on somewhere here.
2 weeks from tonight.
2 weeks from tonight. I know, but I wrote it down. There it is. Tuesday, April 12th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, of course, 6 o'clock Arizona time. Tuesday, April 12th. The others...
no idea what that is.
That is Hello Kelly. Don't do that with the phone, please. Whatever that creature is. Is she on her phone?
I don't know. So anyway, you're saying the 12th, 9 p.m., 6 p.m.
Yeah. 9 p.m. and 6 p.m. And it is going to be, we're going to talk about goals and taking 100% responsibility for your life. Setting goals, following your goals, and taking 100% responsibility for your life. You really want to make changes into your life, you have to take responsibility that whatever is happening to you, the results are things that you've been involved with. And you can change those results. So that's what we're going to talk about next. And we will continue to talk a little bit about, inner and outer actions, because I didn't finish all that, and that ties into everything. So I want to give a shout out to Big C of the Bear Crawling Nation. You can find him at bearcrawling.com, bearcrawlingnation.com. My producer, my friend, and my co-host. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. And soon we can find mordantworld.com. I'll be launching.
Soon we'll find mordantworld.com. You go there now, we just have a counter. So I want to thank David, DCP3450, for being my web guy. And making everything run. We don't have Ronnie Rocks here today, but I'll pimp her out, RonnieRocks.com, RHONNI rocks.com. I want to thank Rock Girl for running the chatterbox today. Naomi Mimi was not in, I don't believe. She tried to get in, but you can always check out NaomiMimi.com. So, Jack Canfield, The Success Principles, is one of the things that we talked about. Pick it up. Big white book. And it'll do you some good. It certainly helped give me direction in my life. Cool. So that is it. I think that's all, folks. That's all, folks. It has been a very good show.
Who are you?
All over the place. I am R. Mordant Mahon, and welcome to the other side of live.
Thank you very much for that.
And in case you didn't like that one, this is R. Mordant Mahon, and you have been listening to The Other Side of Live.
Sister, ain't that Mr. on a radio, stereo, the way you move ain't fair to know. Hey, soul sister, I